Ahmed Baba. So two brothers talking, and boy, do we should have some tea right now because
We've got some piping hot tea to talk through right now, man.
is this karma? Tell them what we're talking about.
We're talking about Secretary of DHS Kristi Noem being fired, and then minutes. Did you see the speech? You see her talking live?
No, I missed. I was in a meeting. What? So what happened? What did she talk? Why did she have
So
a press conference afterwards?
we had Donald send out a Truth Social post, and then within minutes, she goes out in Tennessee. It was a pre-planned event talking to local law enforcement. And it wasn't clear when she was talking whether she knew she was fired. Like, I mean, we saw reporting after that she knew, but I don't know, man. I saw her speaking, and then she was taking questions, and they were referring to her as Madam Secretary, and it was just like really embarrassing. And then obviously her term would still last the end of the month or whatever, but like it was just embarrassing. She just went up there and did the event like nothing happened, man.
Yeah. Let me tell you, and I hate to keep repeating things, but I have been saying, my saying is every dog has its day, and sometimes two. And the old cliche is karma is a bitch. I believe, I do believe in karma. It's not doesn't always come as immediate. It's not always as immediate as this.
Mhm.
But what I will tell you is that it does come, and when it does, it's usually very satisfying. I don't take glee in anybody's downfall, except this may be the first time, because she is facing the retribution, the karma, whatever it is, Jesus, whatever, whoever your God might be, Yahweh, whoever it is. Allah, she is facing the karma from all the people who were detained on the streets, who should not
Yep.
be detained, all of the people who were racially profiled, all the people who were profiled because of their accent, all the people who were American citizens and still got detained, all the people who spent time in jail or in a lockup or in a detention center, all of the false things that she lied about in order to be able to get those people, the lack of due process, the breaking into people's homes. She is facing that. And this is the most embarrassing thing that could happen to her. And on top of that, he will probably pardon her. Maybe he won't because he's pissed off about this whole ad thing that she allegedly or supposedly reportedly got fired for because she said that he approved this ad, asking undocumented people to self-deport. He didn't like how glamorized and how self-serving it was. And she's saying that he approved it. He's saying that he did not. That means she lied under oath.
That's
That
perjury.
perjury. So
Is he gonna pardon? That's an interesting bit because what do you if he pardons her, he admits that he's saying
yeah,
what he's saying she didn't lie.
yeah. Or that
Yeah,
you can lie about him and you can get away with it. So what
exactly.
is it?
So
And who's she banging? That's what the Senate,
Corey
the Congress people
Lewandowski. Corey
allegedly.
Lewandowski. Allegedly. We want to be
But
clear
she
for
did not say no in that
no,
hearing.
no, exactly. And that's the thing here where it's like on that the fact that this question was the final straw for him, it just shows where his priorities are, right? Like just when she made him look bad in this hearing for that $220 million contract, that was the final straw, not the incompetence, not the lying and defamation of Renee Good and Alex Preddy after they were killed by ICE.
That's yeah.
None of it, like none of all that was okay with him. Basically, what that signals. But really, you're right. I mean, every
The
dog has
court
its day.
appearance, sorry to cut you off. It was about the appearance and that it was seen on television. And that
Yes.
is what that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm just saying. I'm sorry to cut you
And
off, but
and and
damn.
also, I guess only he can do the corrupt grifting because there's also the fact that those contracts for the ad deals were to affirm to her spokesperson's husband and other financial ties. So, if she tries to grift, it's too far, but he can grift all he wants. But no, you're right. And honestly, on that every dog has its day, I think that's the karma bit, right?
Yeah.
Her dog, she's the one that killed the puppy.
I didn't even think about that.
She's the one that killed the dog, bro.
She did, and you know what I love? Jared Moskowitz is a shady bitch, and I mean that in the best way. I love you, Jared Moskowitz. But did you see him with the, "Justice for Cricket" button
I,
on
did,
him?
I didn't see the
As he
button.
was as he was questioning her yesterday, he was wearing a "Justice for Cricket." Cricket is a dog that she killed, and on all of his appearances on independent media and on, legacy media today, he's still wearing the button that says "Justice for Cricket."
Well, I think we're getting some justice right now. At least the beginnings of it, man. Maybe she'll get, Maybe she'll get more later, but man, it's just, I mean, it's great to see her go. We could talk about Mark Wayne Mullen and how he won't be any better in a
Oh
little bit,
god.
but like the fact that she was just the worst, she was the dumbest cabinet member. She wasn't good at this. She was a person that was clearly out of her depth on this. She was, the way she was handling it, like the way she reflexively referred them as domestic terrorists was even, I guess, too far for some of them and just executed so poorly. And I want to note on this point, like the fact she's ousted, we're going to see Republicans start to try to use that as a deflection away from ICE's cruelty. They're going to try to say, "Oh, well, Trump he already handled. He had, she went too far, so he got rid of her." But we have to be clear, it's Stephen Miller and Donald are the source of all of that, right? Like this firing does not suddenly absolve Trump of the abuses you outlined in the beginning of this conversation that ICE and DHS did. This is just like, there's still other heads of the Hydra here.
It's all coming. I can feel it. Can Do you remember the Jackson 5? Can't Well, they weren't the Jackson 5, then they were the Jacksons. Can
Yep,
you feel it?
I
Can
can,
you
bruh.
feel it? Can you feel it? Dum, 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 dum,
No,
dum.
that's my.
So
Have you seen the musical? That's what's a different conversation. The musical is amazing. They play
oh,
that
really?
song and they kill it. You got to go. It's on
Michael
Broadway, but
Jackson, the musical? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's
sold out. The
incredible.
lines around the block every single day. So yeah, I think it's coming. And it's not when some people want it to be instant. And sometimes it just builds up over time, but you can't mistreat people like that. You can't mistreat the position and the trust that and the authority that has been given to you by the American people, really, because Donald Trump was elected by the American people, whether you like it or not. Maybe you thought there was some shady shit that happened with the election. A lot of people did. But basically, the American people elected him. He appointed her. So in in a secondhand way, she was working for the American people, and
Mhm.
we trusted her to do the right thing, and she did not from the beginning.
Exactly, and she was not only spending taxpayer dollars to promote herself. Thank God I won't have to see her at airports ever again. We don't have to see her up there on all these ads everywhere. She really blew through that taxpayer dollars, did some self-dealing, unleashed cruelty at ICE, and now finally is ousted here. And I think it also goes to show what happens when Republicans speak out. Tillis's comments towards her in that hearing, he eviscerated her. And Kennedy spoke out against her. Maybe more Republicans need to speak out against cabinet members they want out. Maybe at this point Trump is so weak he might accede to it. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But like,
Can you see my comments? Because I can't see any comments. I'm just posting shady shit in the
no, no,
thing.
he's gonna tell me he's better look. Yeah, we need an accurate poll here, guys. All right, all right. We need some real. You can just hit the heart if it's me. You're already
None of
hitting the
it's
hearts.
real. None of it's real because and hit the hearts if it's
No,
me.
it's
Hit the
it's,
hearts
it's
like 8 times. None of it's real
you
because
couldn't
I
tell
can't
this guy
see.
just turned 60. You cannot tell. It's not.
Well,
It doesn't
I did
exist.
not just turn 60. I turned 36.
I said 31, John. You're misquoting me here.
You know what they say, black don't crack. But look, I took have you seen look, have you seen the old Kristi Noem and the new Kristi Noem? If you see her face before, she got that MAGA makeover. I mean, I that Kristi Noem, the original Kristi Noem, would not recognize the new Kristi Noem if they met. They'd be like, "Who are you? I'm you. No, you're not."
Yeah, I know, in more ways than one, like, I think character-wise, it's like another example of someone who just sold their soul all the way to the top, and then you still get ousted. Like, what these people don't realize is that you can sell your soul, you can write about you killing your puppy in order to try to get a job, and in the end, Donald will still oust you when you do wrong, when you stumble. People are expendable. There's one-way loyalty in Trump's orbit, and Kristi Noem just learned the hard way here. Once again, another member of the orbit that just she's getting sent off to some fake new role. It's like protecting the Americas. You see the new
Who
roles.
is her?
Kristi Noem, she's getting assigned to a new role.
Well, let me tell you this because I'm just getting this as we are speaking. This is crazy. That's why I said who is. I thought maybe you were referring to something new. Lindsay breaking from the New York Times. Lindsay Halligan, the ex-U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia who brought criminal charges against Trump's enemies over the objections of career prosecutors, is under investigation by Florida's Bar Association, according to a letter the organization sent last month.
Hey man, you said it. You said karma's creeping.
I'm telling you,
You
it's
said it.
coming. The Lord is like, "Okay, enough of y'all. I gave you
No,
free will, and you're not using it properly."
2026, year of the Lord, man. We're gonna get out here, get chickens coming home to roost. Trump's gonna get cooked in the midterms. We got Lindsey Halligan getting probed. Who's next? Pam Bondi, you think?
Now, I have a thing. You wanna hear mine? What I
Well, I mean, you might be biased on that point, but yeah.
well, I don't wanna say I'm biased because, look, I've been talking, saying my piece and the truth
Of
about
course, I
Pam
know, I know,
Bondi
I know. I'm just
before
joking.
everything, but here's the thing, though. I think that obviously Corey Lewandowski should be looking over his shoulder or waiting. Maybe he should put his phone on silent or sleep, right?
Mhm.
Because the next phone call might be him. The other thing is that the other person who probably makes him look bad the most, there are 2, Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
Now, Pam Bondi in front of that, I think it was the senators last time? Yeah, it was a Congress last time, and then the Senate before. She made Donald Trump look like shit. She made him look, I mean, even worse. She was bad. The Dow, and then all the other antics, and she's just screaming the whole time, right? Now, he apparently said that he liked it. However, I think now people are saying, "Okay, so he fired Kristi Noem. He's gonna see his poll numbers go up." And then Pam Bondi's gonna go in front of the Senate, right? And then they're gonna see again, there's gonna be some fallout. They're gonna ask her some questions. She's gonna stumble. She's gonna do some whatever. And so she's gonna end up making him look bad again on television. So here's my take, and I'm serious about this. And no, nothing has to do with anything that's going on with me. If Donald Trump wants to prove to people that he did nothing wrong and there's nothing in the Epstein files that's going to show that he did something wrong, then he would fire Pam Bondi because people will say, "Oh, he got rid of the person who knows where the Epstein bodies are buried," metaphorically, if you know what I'm talking about.
Don't
So
don't
he
give them
got
free advice, Dom. They're gonna
yeah.
take it.
So he got rid of her. He must be okay because see, there is no way he would fire the attorney general and the person who knows what's in those Epstein files.
That's
So,
that
and all of the incompetent people below her that who are wasting resources and money over, going after, like, Lindsey Halligan, after Donald Trump's political rivals or enemies, wasting taxpayer dollars and resources that you and I are paying for, they get rid of them too and
no.
start all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could if he sees positive indicators happening after
Yeah.
this move, and then you go to Pam Bondi, you look at the others, then he starts cleaning house ahead of the midterms, he might do that. He's so politically bogged down that you're right. They might try to like if they start to be able to do messaging around, oh, it was Kristi Noem that went too far with ICE, and then oh, it was Pam Bondi who actually mishandled the Epstein files, and then with this Iran war, it's already being mishandled. We didn't get to really even talk about that. That's what I thought we were talking about before today. But like Pete Hegseth, the worst communicator about the Iran war right now, and all of these people are building a case for them to potentially take the fall for all of Trump's failings. And we're going to see it. We're going to see it. I think you're right. I think we're going to see more firings, and I think they're going to try to pawn off the blame for
And and
his weakness.
and I would get rid of Pete Hegseth
Yeah.
because Pete Hegseth is embarrassing. Every time he steps in front of a camera, it's like, and there was no regime change wasn't the thing, but it was regime. It wasn't a regime, but it was regime change. He's speaking in like riddles. I'm like, who do you think you are, Eminem? He sounds like he
No,
sounds like
yeah.
he's doing black scent. Like there wasn't a regime change. We didn't want a regime change, but the regime did change. He thought he cooked with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, like, dude, you did not this is not like murderous slam poetry, bro. This is not like regime change slam poetry. You just gotta people want clear communication. He was out there
Yeah.
talking about the death and destruction and the fake news getting this wrong and up there just being performative. Meanwhile, you got Rubio over here saying, oh, Israel dragged us into the war, and Trump over here giving all these shifting justifications. So I think you're right. I think we're going to start to see after this, potentially Pam Bondi take the fall for the Epstein files. Maybe in the future, Hegseth take the fall for the Iran war handling. Like, I think going into the midterms, as all of this stuff starts to beleaguer him, and he's looking at his poll numbers and he's looking like, oh, actually, those ideas I had about stealing the midterms actually aren't feasible. Let me start to just try to like blame, make these people take the fall. That's what I think. That's what I think this is.
Fall gals and fall guys, and that's what they're all going to be. By the way, did you see Mark Wayne Mullen? yesterday when he said, "Look, that we're at war." And then he went on to say, and then someone said, "Well, we are at war." And he goes, "No, we're not at war." And he's like, "You just said we were at war." And he goes, "No, the president hasn't declared a war." I said, "But you said." And he goes, "Well, that was a misspoke."
A miss. That's when he got that's the moment he got the job, Don. That's the
That
moment he
was a
got the job. That's
that
when
was a
Trump
miss.
was like, "You'll fit right in. You'll fit right
Damn.
in."
So the breaking news is that Lindsay Halligan, the former U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, who brought criminal charges against President Donald Trump's enemies over the objections of career prosecutors, is under investigation by Florida's Bar Association. That's according to the letter the organization sent last month. The letter was addressed to the executive director of a nonprofit organization, Campaign for Accountability, which had filed complaints in Florida and Virginia about Ms. Halligan's actions. It noted that it had been closely monitoring reprimands Ms. Halligan had received from judges. We already have an investigation pending, the Bar Association said in a letter to the group. Ms. Halligan, who left the U.S. Attorney's Office in January, was included on the letter indicating that she was aware of the investigation. Reached by phone, Ms. Halligan asked to see a copy of the letter, but did not offer any additional comment. A Justice Department spokesman declined to comment. And one more thing, an investigation by Florida's Bar Association could lead to disbarment. I have been saying that about the
Mhm.
people who are in the Justice Department now, but the process is rigorous and often takes years. Though the bar can open investigations and act as a fact finder, its recommendations go to an organization called a grievance committee, which has to determine whether there's probable cause to believe an attorney is guilty of misconduct. That recommendation then goes to the state courts, which have the power to disbar lawyers. And there you go.
There you
And
go, man. These
watch,
yeah,
it's going to
these
happen to others.
Yeah, and I just gotta add to that, man. These people think they can latch on to Trump and get the same invulnerability that he has. They do not have it. You will face consequences that Donald does not face. We see that here with Lindsey Halligan. When he surrounds himself with these incompetent loyalists, they're gonna stumble, and then they're the ones that have to face the consequences for it. Donald's not gonna protect, he's gonna throw him under the bus and not protect them. He can't pardon Lindsey Halligan out of being disbarred.
Mhm.
There's people who are going to be facing accountability here in more ways than one. And I think you're right. I think we're in accountability season, brother. I think karma is marching.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
I hate to look, in all seriousness, this has been bad, so bad for so many people.
Yes.
Imagine the people who were shipped to foreign countries that they had never been to. Some of them, I believe, were American citizens, people who were detained for days, if not weeks, and were not criminals, were American citizens. People who were picked up in their homes and dragged off in their underwear. People whose homes were barged into or broken into by ICE goons with battering rams, and they had the wrong person. Remember the guy? I think it was in Minnesota that they used the battering ram to get into his home. Turns out
Yep.
it was the wrong person. The person they were looking for was already in prison.
Hmm.
That's the karma that they're facing. And to the key porters of the world who died in California by the hands of an off-duty ICE agent, Renee Nicole Good
Yep.
and Alex Preddy as well. That should have been the thing that she was fired for, not for her television and Senate performance.
No, exactly. She just ended up making Trump look bad. But, you know, this is the culmination of all of that anyway. And I think there could be and should be prosecutions for people who unlawfully sent people out of the country. What happened in Seacot, they sent people to torture chambers. And then these unlawful killings, these extrajudicial murders, frankly, of individuals who were just defending their neighbors. It's been insane what ICE has unleashed and what Kristi Noem oversaw. And it doesn't stop with Kristi Noem. It goes up to Stephen Miller and Donald Trump. And I think you're right. Like, we can laugh about Kristi Noem being ousted, but, I think there's a lot more accountability that needs to come their way because their abuses of power have been insane.
Did you see before I let you go, Ahmed Baba? Did you see you watched her right in front of the Senate the other
Yeah.
day when and my goodness, Tom Tillis took her to the woodshed. She looked like she was going to cry. She looked like a schoolgirl being chastised by the principal. Did you see that?
Yeah. She was, I think she was shocked. Like, you could see in her eyes, she was like, a Republican is just dismantling me, and then bringing up she started looking down when he brought up the puppy, and he literally cited her killing of Cricket, as a reason of as an example of her poor judgment. And he was so right, man. She has
Yeah.
exhibited poor judgment every step of the way, could not make good decisions, was cruel for no reason. The defamation of Alex Preddy and Renee Good was totally unjustified. And I'm sure we'll talk about Mullen in future episodes because he also defamed Alex Preddy too. So he's not going to be any better.
Well, since you brought it up, there's something that I'm gonna play, and hopefully you can hear it on the microphone because sometimes you can't. Um, this is the new this he's a nominee. I think he has to go through a process, but chances are it will be approved. But
Mhm.
Yes, the president and the secretary of war has been very clear they're going to use lethality against our enemies, home and abroad. This has been very clear what's going on right now. That the drug organization that is considered a terrorist organization that is flooding our streets with drugs, is killing Americans every single day, they're being proactive on it. Good on them. Are we doubting that these drug dealers are actually drug dealers? Do we think they're just out there fishing? Do we doubt that this is a terrorist organization that's killing thousands and thousands of people on our streets? What are we questioning here? These individuals don't care about the lives of our friends and families. Why do we care if we take them out in international water? It is a war because they have declared war on our streets, and the president and Secretary Hegseth is doing exactly what we should be doing, being proactive against our enemies. And that's what they're doing here. And I applaud them for doing something because the past administration did absolutely nothing, why thousands of Americans died on our streets.
okay, so he's
Yeah, and I
talking
just
about
want to point out that again, that it's the Republican chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee and the Republican chair of the House Armed Services Committee who say that they want to look at the whole operation, which you just described.
Dan is like, this is the Republicans who are coming after them. But what he's talking about Venezuela.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to keep in mind all of that. He wants more lethality at home, he said.
Yeah. The at home was the key thing.
Keep in mind that there has been no evidence or proof about the fentanyl and drugs coming from Venezuela.
No.
And so w he is a box of rocks. And
No.
I look, my apologies to rocks. I don't wanna,
Don't want to defame the rocks.
besmirch the rocks, but he's as dumb as a box of rocks.
No, you're right. I mean, the fact that he talked about lethality at home and abroad, and he's been defending every single thing they're doing. And again, that's what Trump wanted to see, just loyalty. That's why Kristi Noem made it this far. And with Mullen here, you're going to get the same kind of parroting of the nonsense. And it seems you want more lethality at home, like. We already had enough, all right? Renee Good and Alex Preddy, well, we have way too much lethality already. We don't need any more lethality. And then, I think maybe they wanted a tough guy image there because of the Iran war. Now, Homeland Security, they're going to single-handedly spark an ISIS 2.0, an extremist group resurgence of religious extremists. Frankly, with this Iran war, this totally unjustified war, which I'm sure we'll talk
Yeah.
about next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I really think we're in for it with Mullen, but good riddance to Kristi Noem. Always got to take the little bit of good news out of it.
Look, Mullen is Mullen is gonna make for some great TV moments. It's gonna be bad for the people, but he is, that was a misspoke.
That was a miss. We'll see if he lasts, man, to be honest. We'll see.
All right, Ahmed Baba. I'll see you later, man.
All right, brother. Good to see you. And also on your way out, everybody, smash that like button and hit subscribe. It boosts the post after Don posts it. All right, fam?
Amen.
See you.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, Don. See you next week.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.